Hi, and welcome to the Simple Weight Loss Podcast. I'm Christina, qualified nutritionist, food coach, and mum of two. If you're a busy mum who wants straightforward, no-nonsense weight loss advice without all the complicated science talk, or you just want to learn more about health and nutrition in a way that's easy to understand, then you're in the right place. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about something that is really common, and it's definitely something that I learned the hard way. And it's the idea that you can just exercise more to make up for a poor diet. I used to be that person. I'd be at gym for hours. I'd go more than once a day. I'd be doing a heap of cardio, feeling like I was really smashing it, doing everything right. But when it came to actually seeing results, like I did initially, definitely saw results at the start, but then everything would just stop and I'd feel like I was doing something wrong. So I'd try changing up the workouts, doing different exercise, but pretty much nothing would happen. And it was so frustrating because putting in all this work, all this effort, and my body just wasn't changing. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I've seen plenty of people do it, working out religiously, doing what you think you should be, and nothing happens, or not much happens anyway. For me, it wasn't until I sorted out my nutrition that things started to change, like properly change. And once I got that, everything kind of clicked and things started to shift. So if you're currently in that place where you're exercising heaps but not seeing the results, then this one is for you. Because the problem isn't that you're not working hard enough. It's just that you're focusing on the wrong area. So if you think about it, let's say you go for a 30-minute run, and that might burn about 250, 300 calories, which is great, except if you then later in the day have a donut, that's going to be maybe 300 to 400 calories, depending on the donut. Or maybe you enjoy a frappuccino. That's going to be 400 to 500 calories. Or you might have a meal out that day, like a burger and chips, let's say. That could easily be 1,200 calories or more. You'd literally need to be running for about 2 hours straight to burn that off. So what you can eat in 5 minutes, it can take hours of exercise to burn. So for me, when I actually looked at those numbers, like it's shocking. You don't really think about how many calories are in these foods. You just eat them and don't really think about it. So it's no wonder that it's not possible to get anywhere. Even elite athletes who train for hours every single day, they wouldn't be able to outrun unlimited poor nutrition either. It's just not possible. And the other thing is when you're exercising heaps, but you're eating rubbish most of the time, your body doesn't just accept it. Your metabolism actually slows down to try and protect you from what it thinks is an energy crisis. So your thyroid function drops. So you even start moving less throughout the day without realizing it. And you end up taking the lift instead of the stairs, or you're sitting more, you're fidgeting less. Fidgeting actually burns calories, and your body becomes more efficient at doing the same workouts with fewer calories burnt. So all of this is not working in your favor. And it's why you hit those really frustrating plateaus, even when you're exercising more than ever. I remember thinking, what am I doing wrong? I'm working out heaps, like I'm doing 2 workouts a day sometimes, and nothing's working. I was actually fighting against my body's survival mechanisms, and I didn't even realize it. Your body thinks that you're in some kind of crisis, and so it's doing everything it can to hold on to the fat. There has actually been some research done that shows when people do really intense workouts, they often unconsciously reduce their activity for the rest of the day. So you do like an hour-long workout and you smash it. You go really hard and you feel really good about yourself, but then you spend the rest of the day just sitting around not doing much. It's like subconsciously your brain thinks, oh, I've done enough hard work for the day. I'm not going to do anything else. Plus, intense exercise actually increases your hunger hormones as well. I don't know about you, but after a workout, I usually feel really hungry. And the reason is it's because your body's trying to restore some kind of balance. So I used to come home and just eat everything and think, oh, it's fine. I did a workout anyway. I need to eat. But it's so easy to eat way more calories than you just burnt. And before you know it, you've just negated all that hard work without realizing it. Another thing is if your diet is mostly processed foods, too much sugar, maybe not enough protein, which was me before I sorted things out, you create this hormonal environment that is actively fighting against fat loss. Insulin goes a bit crazy from constant blood sugar spikes, which makes your body store everything as fat instead of using it for energy. And inflammation from poor food quality messes with your hunger and fullness signals. Then cortisol stays elevated, promoting fat storage around your stomach. Your body just goes into crisis mode and holds on to everything. And your body can't recover properly from exercise either because it's not getting the nutrients that it needs to do that. So no amount of exercise can override these hormonal signals when your nutrition is all over the place. And trust me, I did try. Something I wish I was told a long time ago would have saved me many wasted hours at the gym and a lot of frustration trying to lose weight. But your body composition, how you look, how your clothes fit, that's roughly 80% determined by what you eat and 20% by exercise. So 20%, it's not a lot, but I'm not saying exercise isn't important. It really is. And I still work out regularly. I try for at least 3 times a week. It can be hard with the 2 kids getting to gym, but I try and get there. But trying to exercise as your main strategy while ignoring nutrition, it's like trying to fill a bath without the plug-in. It's just not going to work. You're going to be putting in all that effort and it's just going to go to waste. So the most efficient path to changing your body composition or losing weight, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, it starts with fine-tuning your nutrition. So once that foundation is solid, then exercise will amplify everything. But it's just not possible to exercise your way out of a nutrition problem. I spent way too long trying and I wish I just focused on it first. I did get to the point where I did focus on nutrition and I was exercising and I'd see results, but then I'd kind of get a bit slack and I'd think, things are going well, I can eat whatever it may have been, and I'd end up eating more and more and the bad habits slowly crept back in. And then I'd think, why isn't it working? I'm still exercising, but again, I had to go back to nutrition basics to sort it all out. So even though exercise only counts for 20%, it is still very valuable, just not primarily for weight loss. It's valuable for building strength so you can maintain independence and capability as you get older. It keeps your cardiovascular system healthy. It helps to manage stress and improve your mental health, which is huge. It also protects your bones and joints and helps you sleep better. There's so many benefits. And when you stop thinking of exercise as a way to earn the food you eat or punish yourself for overeating potentially, then everything changes. Food is there to be fuel for living. It's not meant to be a reward for working out. The goal is for exercise to become something that you do because it makes you feel good and it keeps you healthy, not because you're trying to compensate for what you've eaten that day. Another thing I found when I actually got my nutrition right, proper nutrition doesn't help with just body composition on its own. It actually makes your exercise more effective. So when you're eating enough protein, your body can build muscle instead of just breaking it down. And when you fuel yourself properly, you have the energy for better workouts as well. I noticed such a big difference in my training once I started eating properly, especially protein wise or eating carbs at the right time. I ended up stronger, I'd recover faster, and I wasn't constantly exhausted. So good nutrition improves recovery, it reduces your risk of injury, it's going to balance your hormones, and it will allow your body to adapt positively to training. So together, if you get your quality nutrition and exercise right, then you're going to see great results, but not with just one or the other. And nutrition has to come first. That's going to be the foundation that everything else builds on. So let me just break down what worked for me and what I recommend focusing on. So first up, prioritize protein. So if you're a woman, aim for about 100 to 120 grams of protein daily. This one made a big difference for me. Protein's going to keep you feeling full. It helps preserve muscle and it burns more calories just by eating it, and it will stabilize your blood sugar. I notice such a big difference in my hunger levels and energy when I'm getting enough protein. If I have a good amount of protein with breakfast, I can get through to lunch and I haven't even thought about food. But if I don't have enough protein, then I end up looking for snacks like an hour later, and I'm usually looking for all the carbs. Another thing to focus on is nutrient-dense foods. So building your regular meals around whole food. So vegetables, fruit, quality protein, whole grains, healthy fats. These are all going to give your body what it actually needs to naturally help regulate appetite. So it's going to stop you constantly looking for snacks, which is exactly what we want to avoid. It's also a good idea to be aware of the calories that you're eating without obsessing. I'm not a huge fan of counting calories anymore. I actually used to enjoy it, tracking everything. It was interesting and it definitely helped me learn a lot about what calories are in what foods. But as a mum, it's way too time consuming, takes up too much mental load, and it's not really necessary. But if you have a basic awareness of portion sizes and calorie density, it's going to help you make better choices. It's really easy to massively underestimate how much you're eating. So just having this awareness will help keep you on track. The other thing you want to do is eat consistently. So you want to prevent a blood sugar roller coaster that drives cravings and overeating. You're going to end up feeling much better with 3 to 4 solid meals every day rather than just constant snacking. Even when you're snacking, you might think, oh, I've hardly eaten today, but you don't realize how those little snacks add up over the day. You would have been much better off with solid meals. Make sure you stay hydrated. So you want to aim for at least 2 to 3 liters of water daily. Being properly hydrated, it's going to support basically every metabolic process. And it will help you tell the difference between whether or not you're hungry or thirsty, because a lot of the time when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. Now, going back to exercise, I just want to make the point that it's important to rethink how you approach exercise. So instead of punishing yourself to burn off food, which is what I used to do, you want to choose exercise that you're actually going to enjoy doing. So you're not thinking about the calories. You're actually just thinking, I'm having fun. I feel good right now. For you, maybe that's strength training, which it definitely is for me. So try and do that at least 2 to 4 times a week. And you're going to build some really good functional strength as well. Or maybe you prefer things like walking, dancing, hiking, or group sport. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, you'll see results if you're consistent over long periods of time. If you're someone like me, when I used to be working out a lot, you might be thinking, but I feel better when I exercise more. And that's completely valid. I get it. Exercise does improve your mood, your energy, your mental health. I definitely feel better on days that I exercise compared to days that I don't. And those benefits, they're real. And I'm not dismissing them at all, but feeling better doesn't automatically mean that you're achieving your body composition goals. It doesn't mean that you're losing the weight that you want to lose. You know, you can feel amazing from exercise and still not see physical changes because your nutrition isn't aligned. They're two completely separate things. I always felt great for my workouts, but my body wasn't changing until I sorted out what I was eating. And that's when I started seeing the change. And there's also a point where more exercise stops helping and it can start potentially hurting. When you're overtraining, it leads to elevated cortisol. It can disrupt your sleep. You can be at risk of more injuries. So while exercise is definitely beneficial, it does matter how much you're doing. And I learned that the hard way. I spent too many hours exercising when I really didn't need to be. Another thing that people always think of is, oh, it's calories in, calories out. It's simple maths. And yes, I used to think that too. Surely if I just burn more than I eat, then the weight will come off, right? This whole calories in, calories out approach, it doesn't always work the way that people think, because your metabolism is a lot more complicated than that. The calories out part isn't fixed. So calories in part is definitely fixed. You can't change what you've already eaten. But the calories out part, it adapts based on what you eat, how much you exercise, your stress levels, your sleep quality, and your hormones. And different foods have different effects on your body as well. So like I mentioned before, eating protein takes up more energy to digest than fats or carbs. And the food quality affects your hormones that regulate hunger and fullness and fat storage. And not all calories are absorbed equally as well. So this is going to depend on the fiber content of your food, your gut health, your food processing. It all plays a role. And your body can slow down to match the reduced intake of food or maybe increased activity. So it's not just a simple calculator. It's a much more complicated system that responds dynamically to what's been input or output. So focusing only on calorie counting while ignoring food quality and hormonal responses, this is why so many people end up failing, even when they think they're killing it and they're doing everything right. And it's easy to do. I've definitely been there. So I've thrown a fair bit of information at you, but in a nutshell, here's what to focus on. So this week, just focus on picking one thing you can upgrade nutritionally. So maybe if you know you're not getting enough protein, focus on adding a good amount of protein to every meal. Or if you're someone who likes snacks, like a lot of processed snacks, maybe try swapping that out for a whole food option instead. Or if you're not getting enough water, you can aim to increase your water to at least 2 liters every day. Or you might drink a lot of sugary drinks. You can try replacing that with something else. Or maybe you're not eating enough vegetables, getting enough fiber, and you can try adding a serve of vegetables to lunch and dinner. Don't try and do everything at once. Just pick one of these and focus on it for a week. Focus on getting consistent with this one change. And another thing to do is to track what you're eating for a few days. So don't restrict yourself. Don't overthink it too much, but it's just for awareness, because most people are genuinely shocked when they see what and how much they're actually eating. They don't even realize it. You can use an app if you want. You don't need to. You can just write it down or even take a photo. That's really easy and quick. And take note of any eating patterns you might have, and spot areas where you can make some easy changes for a quick win. And you might start seeing where calories are sneaking in where previously you weren't aware of it. So pick one meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever's going to be easiest for you to start with, and try to nail that meal consistently for 7 days. Once you got the first meal sorted, then move on to the next one. And you don't need to spend hours at the gym. You don't need to spend hours out walking or running. You just need to get your nutrition right first. And then from that point, everything else will start changing for you. Once you start there, exercise will become what it should be. It's going to become something that enhances the foundation you've built, not something that you're desperately using to try and fix a nutrition problem. Well, I think that's enough from me for today. If you enjoyed this episode, I really appreciate a review. It'll help more people find the show, so hopefully I can help more people like you. And follow me on Instagram at plantifyyourplate_nutrition. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.